Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So in today's video, we're actually going to show the farming results over the last 3 weeks. And I'll just have a few ramblings of Gamer Dad's thoughts and opinions about certain things in the game. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So first of all, I usually update you all with what I'm aiming for right now. You can clearly see I am still grinding out Gario's shadow, which is at the end of this video should be at about 251. So I'm missing about 4 shadow. I'm hoping that in the following week I will have that done. After which I will probably use my green keys to grind out more of Azami's light. If you haven't kept up with the game, note that of course Azami does have her true manifest, and although her DPS isn't nearly as high as some of the newer units in the game, I do really believe that she has a lot of utility. As I mentioned when I did do her 5-star review, just the fact that she has that ability to debuff is extremely good, especially in some wind team comps that don't have access to either the int down or the power down 60. So don't sleep on Azami thinking that she's like, oh, it's not great because of their DPS or whatever. The counter attack, the power down, the int down is extremely good, and don't forget her quad hit as well. All right, so at this point in the video, we're already at our first PCD clear of the video. And of course, remember that since opuses are not dropped through green keys in Garrelia dungeons, they are only dropped in red keys from the normal red key dungeons. I would always recommend picking opuses in your PCD clears. Of course, if you have some priority units you really want to upgrade instead of some altar units, you could definitely do that. However, just from the raw chance of getting treaty Cs, you'll have a much easier time getting 3 to 5 treaty Cs, depending if you want to buy 2 or just grind out all 5 like I usually do, instead of getting those opuses. So definitely choose an opus if you do get lucky enough to finish a PCD clear. So again, let me know in the comments below what units you are currently working on or hoping to get. I'm always looking forward to seeing where everyone else is progressing in the game. As for myself, I have done actually pretty well in terms of drops as well as PCD clears, and so I was able to fill out much of my roster needs as of this moment. That being said, I haven't upgraded anyone just yet. For those who don't know, and this is a spoiler of some type, Chapter 7 of the Future Mythos should be coming around the corner. That should be the conclusion to the entire Future Mythos chapter. I'm actually looking very forward to seeing what happens to the likes of Curio, the different time layers, and of course all our altar units. Now, that being said, because Chapter 7 is such a big deal, I believe that in Japan we did get a free 5-star, and you can choose from, I guess, 2 different banners depending on how they split the 5 stars. And because of that, if you are planning to upgrade or side grade anyone, don't do it in the next few days. Just wait until Chapter 7 comes down, because if that case, then you could at least pull your 5-star, see if you get anyone new or someone who's a free side grade, and then based on that, you can determine whether or not you want to continue on with that. And here we have another Yuta opus. So I do have 3 Yuta opuses. I've actually been, as you know, I already have my Cyan Scyther, and I'm actually still working on RCF as well as Persephone. As of the end of this video, and as you continue watching, just watch the drops. My drops in the Curio dungeon has been extremely fortunate. Now, I know everyone says, oh, which is the best area to farm red keys or green keys? Of course, the luck is all dependent on you guys, but I will say that my luck has been extremely good in the Curio dungeon. Not sure if, because their Curio's linked to the altars, and therefore the different time layers will have a higher chance of opuses. Of course, I'm not saying any conspiracy like that. So just so you know, I'm not promoting or anything like that. Some people are luckier in certain dungeons, some people are not. So I'm just saying that currently I am grinding Curio with my red keys, and it seemed to be going fairly well. in terms of generally grinding for light and shadow, as of this point, I still do believe, although still a top priority for newer players to the game, which I know some of you are. And in terms of shadow, if you want to use your red keys and increase your shadow, then I still think Clark AS is a great one to get. The reason why is, of course, you might even consider grinding shadow over light as a priority. The reason why is that if you think about it, the vast majority of units in the game are light. If you summon, you'll have way more light characters than shadow characters, and later on you do need areas where you will need something in the 120 shadow, and in the case where you explore other lands, which I don't recommend at this point, I think there are areas where you do need 180 or even more shadow. And so it's good to be prepared such that if you ever do need a 360 shadow team in the future, then you'll have access to that. And of course, if that's the case, Clark AS was probably one of your best shadow batteries. I mean, you can do Gilna, you can do other people like that, but you know, you've probably seen me use Clark AS a ton in Magic Zones. And yes, Magic Zone is still one of my favorite zones out there. And because of that, I really do think his power is quite good. His extra Mind's Eye and the fact that he's still one of the few shadow magic, you know, and he's also free, of course, is a great addition to be grinding out. So yes, I do have a second PCD clear in this video, and you can clearly see how many of each opuses I have. This one was actually just after the Resif update, which is the Silver Striker. And so regardless, since I don't have the normal style version of Silver Striker, I decided to pick up and finish off my last RCF, which is 3 opuses for that. So looking forward to be side grading both the Yuta as well as the RCF in the future, near future actually, once chapter 7 is done. Now a small story for you actually, since we're talking about story time with GamerDad. We have a tale of 3 sons, of course. I have 3 sons in my family. 2 of them, the older 2, play the game pretty regularly, and regardless of how far ahead or behind they are in the game, they do regularly burn all their red and green keys. And you know that GamerDad definitely lectures everyone on burning those each and every week, and I also do recommend buying maximum red and green keys for using Siberius gems. However, my youngest son, Andros Prime, he actually finds it difficult to keep the motivation up in order to grind his red and green keys. And actually in the last month or 2, he's actually kind of fallen behind in doing that. Like on the weekends, maybe he'd do a few if he feels up to it. When he feels like grinding out XP, sometimes he'll use it in the sealed realm, but certainly not full efficiency. And I've definitely noticed he's actually losing a little bit of motivation in the game on playing his own account. If you're wondering why, well, it makes sense. As he sees his brothers and his dad getting all these treatises, codexes, chants, and even opuses, we are able to continue upgrading and modifying our roster, getting it stronger each and every day or every week. If you're not grinding and you know, obviously my son is not grinding, the youngest one, you're going to be stagnant, your account's going to stay the same way, and by not adding any units, it's going to get boring really, really quick. So I know there are a lot of people who keep on saying, oh, grinding is boring, it sucks, I'd rather just summon everyone. And yeah, if you want to spend a lot of money on it, yeah, that's exactly the way to make things exciting. You just do the Star Dreams, you do the Fatefuls, you'll get a lot of units you need and want. That'd be awesome. You can refresh your account weekly or every month and stuff like that. Hey, however, if you're a light spender or free to play like myself, that is really not an option, right? Your stones are limited. You really only get about 2,000 to 2,500 stones a month, depending on how many updates dropped and if you watch all your videos and stuff. Like, the less you play and log in and do your red and green keys, by having a lesser and lesser account where you're falling behind more and more and more, you're going to come to a point where you just don't want to play anymore because, let's be honest, you see all these videos with the newest units, the AS Kiko's of the world, the altars of the world, the most powerful. And then when you watch their strategies, because, you know, let's be honest, we're all watching different strategies in order to try to beat some of the content in the game, you're like, well, I can't do any of that. And so I highly recommend, and again, I know this is the same message over and over again, but it's just a different, in my opinion, a little bit different of a presentation where, yeah, it is a cycle. The less you play, the less you want to play because you'll just not have anything awesome. And likewise, the more you play, the more you grind. And when I say grind, I don't mean grinding for hours every day. I mean grinding like your keys and dungeons. Hopefully, 15 and 20 minutes a day if you have any sort of reasonable team comp with the grass system. Then, good things will happen. Your account will get better. Now, I would argue that, of course, if you're a newer player to the game where you have not finished the main story, you don't have access to all the grass set, and things are a little bit tough, hey, we get it. Even as a veteran, I've been through that. If you watch my early videos, I've been through it where I have not had anything. And you just, once you get to a point where you unlock that grass system, and nowadays you can get it really easily. If you play regularly, you'll finish the story and get the grass system, grind out a few, and you're going to be there in no time. So, back to the video. This is right. You're not seeing double. You're seeing triple. We have finished 3 freaking PCDs in 3 weeks. 1 a week, which is ridiculous, right? I mean, well, anyways. So, I have Yuta done. I have RCF done. We're going to go with the Persephone. Why the heck not? So, I do have Science like they're upgraded. I will have all 3 altars of the ones I have. And of course, the 5th one, the Silver Striker, I don't have any ability to upgrade it. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, the next time you see me upgrade, you're going to see 4 altars on my team. That's going to be really, really exciting. And so, yeah, looking forward to that and looking forward to share that with you. It is kind of funny though, because notice that I did get another Persephone after choosing PCD. You can't really do anything about that. In general, I do recommend if you are going for multiple units, like let's say you're missing multiple opuses for altars, try to even them out, because you never know if RNG is going to give more of one than the other. But evening them out at least makes it a little bit less likely that you'll have too many of one. So Curio is, of course, now at 75 light, which is another breakpoint. You get another stat boost there. And at 80, of course, you do get the 4 move slots instead of 3. So that's going to be really nice. I do think that once he gets his final upgrade for his weapon, I guess when the final boss comes out after the future missiles is done, then he'll be quite a force to be reckoned with. Of course, as a free unit, his top line DPS probably won't be as high as some of the newest units out there. But still, the fact that WSS gives you many free units, and they all have different advantages and disadvantages, regardless of how weak they seem, they still have a lot of utility. Like, I still use AS Clark all the time, for example. I've used a lot of free units back in the day with the Tails, of course. And of course with Surge, Harley, and Kid. I mean, if you look at most endgame comps in Fire Slash or just Slash in general, Kid is essentially in all of them, right? So the fact that you can add that, Harley can give you massive DPS for Shade Magic and even for regular magic. Yeah, never ever doubt the free units. Even if your gacha seems very powerful, because some free units do have unique traits and abilities that your gacha units don't have, and having a mix of both is a great way to kind of bolster your team and give you more variety in choosing team comps and strategies. Now, one last thing I will say as the video comes closer to the end is that I will be doing eventually a back to basics video on team comp and my thoughts on how to build a team when I'm doing boss fights. So hopefully, if you do want to see that, let me know in the comments below. Anyways, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.